Good morning. Happy Sunday. I don't know about you, but I hardly got any sleep last night. I could not sleep, so I got up and I worked from about 1 in the morning. So I'm still up. So we'll see how we go. We'll see how my brain functions throughout this live. And I decided yesterday that we'd talk about hacks. Now, I'm just going to move a few things because I've got a show and tell like I did last week to illustrate my points. What are hacks? We see it all over the internet, what hacks we have going on. And a hack is just essentially something that makes your life easier, something that allows you to do the things that you need to do in a quicker amount of time, or to do it without thinking, or that kind of thing. So a hack for me may not be a hack for you, and a hack for you may not be a hack for me. So it's very much the new word for hints. Yeah, hints, hacks, exactly right. It's very much like that. So I think that we need hacks though when we have got different things going on in our lives. We do need those little things that help make life easy, help us to do things that we might put off, or to eat healthy, or to exercise more, or all those things that are like, I can't be bothered with that. I think any hacks that we can have to do those sorts of things has got to make our life easier, right? So the more we share, and that's why we all watch those videos. We all watch those hack videos because we're like, give me the hack, give me the hint. So I thought I'd share. I walked around the house this morning in my, glazed over state from no sleep. There's some hacks there, but they didn't work for me last night, so I worked instead. So I walked around the house and I thought I'll just pick up the things that I know I do. And look, if you're sitting there, tell me where you're from and tell me some of your hacks, some of your best things that you do that make your life healthier, easier, less stress, that kind of thing. Because, yeah, we all need hacks, right? So this is what I walked around the house and picked up. And I when I planned this out yesterday, I did a bit of research and I did different things. And, the hacks could be the kitchen, the hacks could be in the bathroom, the hacks could be just habits that we do that make the other habits easier. So I started that way, but lack of sleep's going to have my brain go all over the place, which is fine. But there's a good starting point. When you're tired, apart from your coffee, and I still will only have one coffee a day. It's like, just because I haven't slept doesn't mean I'm going to have 10 coffees a day. But I don't know if you've ever tried essential oils in the shower on the floor. Now, you can now get in the shops, what do you call it? Like the bath fizzy things, bath bombs, that they're now for shower, and you throw them on the shower floor, and it's things like eucalyptus and lavender if you're stressed, different essential oils for different reasons, right? Well, I just cut out the middleman and the bath bomb stuff, and I've now started putting, so these are the two that are in the shower at the moment. This is doTERRA, but whether you use Young Living or any other brand, it doesn't matter, whatever your thing is. This is On Guard, so this is when you're getting sick. And this one's peppermint. Peppermint, and the eucalyptus is in there. Peppermint and eucalyptus, if you want to wake up, oh my Lord, it works far better than any coffee you can imagine. And you just put a few drops on the shower while you're standing there on the floor, and off it goes. That's my latest hack and now I just keep all kinds of essential oils in there because I love it so much. It really wakes me up and or calms me down if I have a lavender one at night. So yeah, just cut out the cost and the expensive, because those little tablets that you throw on the shower floor, they're really expensive. So just put the drops straight onto the floor. Or what I do is I sort of throw them, or like go like this onto the shower wall, because it doesn't wash down the drain so quickly. It stays in the shower and keeps you keeps you going, but really alert. And I started doing it because, I'm going to say, I don't know how long ago it was now, 2 months ago, something like that. I was sick and I put eucalyptus in there. And as soon as I started doing that, it made such a difference that I was like, I'm going to bring my other essential oils in here. And so now of a morning, I might put peppermint oil, and yeah, eucalyptus is great, on guard, just whatever you fancy. Orange, citrus, they're all really lovely, whatever your thing is. So that's my first hack that I use all the time now. All right, now I'm going to hop around, as I said. And actually, no, I'm still in the kitchen. I'm still in the bathroom. Now, I don't know how many of you get cracked heels. I used to get cracked heels, got cracked heels for 30 years of thyroid disease. And I don't know if that's a lipedema thing. I haven't really found much around that. So if you've got lipedema and you've got cracked heels, tell me. And I didn't bring the covered version to show you. These things, and this looks terrible, but it's called a chiropody stone. It is the best thing that I found. And I only thought to bring this to show you this morning because I grabbed it to throw it away, because after being on mostly carnivore for the last year or whatever it's been, I don't have cracked heels anymore. So that's the first thing, if you've got cracked heels. But if you can't do that, these little chiropody stones that you get from the pharmacy, they're light as anything. They're kind of like pumice, but better than pumice. I don't know what they do, but they're the best things I've ever found for cracked heels. So now that I've showed you, that can go in the bin because I don't need it anymore. Okay, skin brushing. If you have not skin brushed, this is for your lymphatic health. I started skin brushing, and I don't do it all that regularly, but I started skin brushing, I'm going to say a decade or more ago, after reading some studies around what taking the excess skin, the skin flakes, off our skin every day will do for our body. I read this study of this, I'm going to say a bodybuilder, weightlifter, something like that. And he literally stood on a big piece of parchment or whatever it was every morning and skin brushed. And the scientists took away all the stuff that he brushed, and they studied it over a certain amount of time. I'm going to say a month. And it was so long ago I read the study, so I can't remember all of it, but I just remember that in the beginning, the amount of toxins that they found in the skin dander, I think is what they call it officially, was insane. It was through the roof. But he noticed so many other changes. Now, this is a really fit, healthy man skin brushing. So not only does it help your lymphatics, it improves the health of somebody who is already healthy. So I'm going to say, for those of us who are struggling with lymphatics in the first place, that we need all the help we can get. And something as simple as this, as brushing your skin, can do that. It's always these little things that we sort of like dismiss as that can't be doing anything, right? We do the big things. And I've often said over the years, it's not the big things we do. Like, I went to the south of India in 2018 for 4 weeks in an Ayurvedic hospital. It was amazing. I got waited on hand and foot. I got brought all my medicines every day. A doctor came around and checked on me. All these things, so amazing. But that didn't really move the dial on my health, right? It's the stuff I do every day. It's these little things that actually make the difference. But it's the little things that we've got to find kind of a habit to make it a no-brainer for us, because we just tend to think, oh, that can't be doing much. What can that do, right? But skin brushing, check out the studies if you do not believe me, because they're quite astounding with what they can do, not just from a lymphatic perspective, but from a moving dead skin off your body and therefore toxins from your body. So that's another hack, that it's a hack because it's so simple and easy. I keep it in the bathroom, right? Now, another hack, I don't know if anyone saw my video that went up last week on my calf raise challenge. that I've got to say has been my biggest hack so far. I'm now up to, and I haven't increased from that challenge, I am up to 150 calf raises in the shower morning and night. I attached it to something I already do twice a day, which was having a shower. And I stand in the shower, I put my hands on the walls, which is why I use the shower. And I like standing in the shower because I like the heat. And I just go up and down and up and down. And here's the short version. You can go back and look at the actual visuals. My husband took photos of the backs of my legs. I took measurements, all that kind of thing. And I went down 6%. It decreased in the size I only measured my knees and my calves and my ankles. I went down 6% in size from calf raises in the shower. And you can see in that video at the end, when I compare my legs at the beginning of the 30 days and at the end of the 30 days, the actual overhang on the backs of my knees were not hanging anymore. They had lifted in 30 days. So I'm going to say that is a hack. I will never not do calf raises in the shower now, because what that has taught me is just something so simple that you can do every day, as long as you get in that habit of doing it every day, that can move the dial with your legs, with you. I just did not think for a second. I'm just like, talking about it now, I'm just still blown away. I did not think for a second that I would have been able to change, because I've lost 60 kilos, 130 pounds. The overhang on the back of, our fat pads at the front, I've still got a fat pad at the front, and the overhang at the back at the top of my knee. I thought, I'm not even going to change measurements. So when I was measuring myself, I was just like blown away. So yeah, anyway, it's a short video. It's 12 minutes. I cut the whole month down short. So check that out if you don't believe me. But otherwise, start doing calf raises in the shower. If you start with 1 and get to 8, you'll have increased it by 700%, which is what I did. I did 650% increase, because I started with 20 calf raises and got to 150. But the change in the backs of my legs visually blew me away. Had no idea that could happen. All right, off that hack. What else have I got here? Kitchen hacks. What else have I got for the bathroom? Nothing there. Kitchen hacks. Okay. My second book that I ever wrote, in case you don't know, I've written 7 books, mostly about thyroid disease. And my first book I ever wrote was about coffee enemas, but that's not what this one's about. The second book I wrote was called Thyroid Jar Food, right? Because if you don't know, if you're new here, I have another platform called Thyroid School. And this was before I found out I had lipedema, and it's what led me down the road of studying to become a naturopath and clinical nutritionist and herbalist. Anyway, the second book, because I was full-time study, had an 8-year-old, my husband worked away, so I was doing everything on my own. I started doing these jar foods, which is, they're actually became trendy after that. I don't think I started the trend, but anyway, I was ahead of the game. And what it was a whole recipe book of foods that I would pre-prep on the Sunday or whatever in lots of 1 cup size jars, right? I was using jam jars, those Bon Maman jam jars, because my mother-in-law would save them for me, and she's French and she had hundreds of them. So I had all these lovely, matching jars. And 1 cup size was perfect. So I could do 5 salads, 5 meat type dishes, that kind of thing. And back then, that was before I had a gastric sleeve, so I could probably eat 2 of them. And I'd pick a salad and pick a meat and take it to school with me, take it to college with me for lunch, for dinner, whatever. There's something funny that happens with glass containers. It doesn't go off. It would last all week. I would cut up. Another thing that I used to do with in that recipe book is I'd put like hummus or pesto or something like that in the bottom, or peanut butter. And I would cut up fresh veggies, carrot sticks, that kind of thing, and stick them in, and then shut the jar. And they would stay crisp I'm not kidding, till the end of the week. Like the whole week, you would pull it out at the last jar. And I didn't think for a second that would happen. But it's something about the glass, because I've done that in plastic, and we shouldn't be having the plastics because of the microplastics that interrupt our endocrine system. But the glass, I don't know, nothing went off. It was insane, and it was the best thing. So you could do 1 cup containers, which is, probably more than I can eat now, or you can get 2 cup. This is an old peanut butter jar. What's the brand name? It's a natural one. I can't remember. These are great jars. These ones, 2 cups worth. But having food prepped in the fridge, ready to go, that's the biggest hack you can have in the kitchen. It's the old-fashioned, have a cook-up on Saturday, Sunday, whenever your thing is that you do the, chores around the house, and fill the fridge up. If you don't have a fridge filled with healthy food of whatever program you're following, so for me, it's having a fridge full of meat for the week. It is cooking up turkey and beef rissoles. There's a video on my recipe on that. Delicious. We always have them in the fridge. It might be cooking up a tray of chicken wings, a tray of chicken drumsticks, a thing of bacon, and have the bacon ready to crumble into eggs, having lots of eggs, boiling eggs. I have boiled eggs permanently in the fridge. When one lot runs out, I boil another lot and put them in there. That if you don't spend the time doing that, the rest of the week, you will fall victim to the quick processed foods, because that's life, right? Nothing, I say there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you have to reach for those things because life gets so busy, right? So don't be hard on yourself to that perspective. But if you want to find a hack for yourself, and as I said, hacks are very individual as to what is a hack for one person and what is a hack for another person. So it's finding what works for you for it to be a hack, right? Be very clear about that. So for me, spending a couple of hours putting a roast in the slow cooker in the morning, putting beef in the dehydrator to make beef jerky, boiling some eggs, I can kind of do all of this prep and make rissoles in kind of a few hours, because it's all kind of prep work and then you're just watching it. Then for the entire week, there's carnivore snacks, there's carnivore meals for my husband and myself, and I don't have to think. I can, get on with what I need to do. And when you're really hungry, because that's what happens, you get yourself to a point where you're like, well, I do. Okay. I get to a point where I go, I haven't eaten. I need to eat. And I'll go in there, and I know that it's so easy to go, well, I'll just have whatever's really quick, because there are some quick things in the house for my husband, the keto wraps, which are beautiful, but don't entirely agree with me. I can have them every now and again, just not often. And but if I don't have that pre-prep food, I will go into the kitchen and go, I'll just get a wrap. I'll just smear some Vegemite on it. Sorry, that's very Aussie. Or whatever, rather than going, look, there's some drumsticks, pick one out and eat it, right? It's so simple. And I think that's the way to go about life. Where in your world, where in your house, where in your bathroom and your kitchen, and they're the main areas for chemicals and things like that are going to interrupt our endocrine system. And anytime we're interrupting our endocrine system, we are interrupting our hormonal pathways, and then that's what drives lipedema. So let's keep in mind 2 things drive lipedema that they know of at this point. Hormones out of whack, and what's the other thing? I'm tired. Inflammation. Right? So anything that we can do to reduce that. And remember that what falls under both those categories is cortisol. High cortisol will have your hormones out of whack, and it causes inflammation. So high cortisol, in a very short, easy word, hack word, is stress. So how can you change the things around you to make it less stressful? One hack I've got for you, won't be popular, declutter. declutter. I have been in the process of decluttering for the last year, and getting rid of things and selling things and all that kind of thing. I am blown away by the things that you buy as you go along because you think it's a great idea. The things that you fill up your house with, that, we look at things like compressions, and I've just ordered a pair of compressions, which are on their way here. So I'm excited to see how they go, but they're really expensive. And I was like, and I put off, and I was like going, no. And then next pay, I'll get them. And I'm just like, and I'm looking at all this stuff I'm getting rid of going, I could have bought those compressions 10 times over with the stuff that I am getting rid of. I don't know. I think it's a dopamine hit. Shopping is a dopamine hit. And when you've got chronic disease and you're feeling crappy about yourself, it's so easy to shop and you buy the little things and the little things and the little things because they don't cost a huge amount of money. But all of those things, that's what I'm noticing with what I get rid of. All of those things add up to bigger amounts. But we don't see that, and they're the bigger amounts that we could potentially get compressions, get the pneumatic leg pumps, have surgeries, right? Look around your house. What do you, not need to buy any longer? Do you need to get a new dinner set? Do you need, really, just because Kmart or Walmart or wherever has the new latest, I watch some YouTubers that they get new, and I know this is a very American thing. This is not so much Australian from what I can see, although there would be some Australians that do this, but and possibly this is a European thing as well. Tell me if you're here from those places. But every holiday, it's a whole bunch of new, like when I say holiday, like Thanksgiving or Easter or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever your, celebration is, there's a new table setting to match that theme. There's a new theme this year. There's a new, everything, the tablecloth, the setting, the decorations. And I know here in Australia, you go into Woolies, which is a grocery store, you go into Woolies at Easter now, and there's as many decorations for around the house as there is Christmas decorations now. And I'm like, when did that happen that we felt like we needed to buy that little porcelain bunny and the fancy basket to have on all right and decorate the whole house? So whether or not that's an American tradition that's filtering into Australia now, I'm not sure. But if you don't buy all those things and use the same set you used last year, could you buy the compressions? Could you have a lymphatic drainage massage instead, right? That is a hack, okay? It's a simple tip that's like, oh, you know what? Do the people that come to your house for Thanksgiving, do they even remember what your tablecloth was last year? I don't know. I know at Christmas time every year for the year in, year out, it was the same decorations, which my son now has, right? Because we don't have enough space in this house for big trees and all that, and all the decorations, but it was the same decorations year in, year out. I just put them away again, got them out again. But I know some people have a whole new theme every year. But I would question you and say, great, if you can afford that and still have your compressions, if you can afford that and still, get the lymphatic drainage massage, if you can afford that and see the doctors, if you can afford that and take care of you as well, great, good on you. But if you're not taking care of you and you're putting everyone else first because you're making sure everything's lovely for everybody else, and that's always what happens, right? I've seen it time and time again. It's like, oh, but we have to make, Easter special for the kids. Oh, we have to make, this holiday special because such and such is coming from a different country or state or whatever. Yet we put off doing the things for ourselves with that money. It's funny how I questioned the compressions every month, and I'm like, why? Yet my husband's like, you buy the compressions, right? He'll be like, if you need them, you buy them. But it's us that struggle to put ourselves first. So look around your house, declutter. Honestly, decluttering is done two things for me. It's shown me how much stuff I've bought that was lovely at the time. I'm not extremely wasteful. I don't have a lot of knickknacks. I'm not a knickknack person, but I still have found looking around the house as I've gotten rid of things going, wow, what was I even thinking buying this stuff, So declutter and stop buying rather than, going to the shops and saying, oh, that new coffee mug's beautiful. Let's get a set of 6 of them. Put that money aside in your compression envelope, right? I don't know. That's back in the day, we used to live with envelopes back before you could have 10 bank accounts and switch between them all. And we now, with everything we sell and get rid of, we put the money in an envelope. It's amazing how quickly it adds up. So maybe that would be a hack for me now moving forward, is I don't need to have the matching coffee cups. There was a time I did, absolutely. But now it's like, really? The coffee tastes the same. Some might argue with me there, but coffee tastes the same. So yeah, it's just little things like that. So other things that I wrote down, hang on, let me see. Oh, here's a great hack for the kitchen. Okay. And I don't have any left because I only do it every now and again when I need it. Now, if you've watched the video on me interviewing Natalie Woodman, the gut engineer, she's told me to try and bring veggies in without any adverse reaction. You've got to just do a little bit at a time, because when we bring back veggies, we bring back too much and our gut flora isn't used to it. So I'm trying to get back to a point of eating sort of keto so that it's more variety, whatever. So what I did was, because my husband still doesn't eat veggies, never has, never will, I was like, oh, even a whole onion, when you've had gastric sleeve surgery and you only want to have a little bit of onion, I'm like, so I got a red onion. I chopped it into tiny little pieces. I put it into a jar, and then I melted butter and I poured it over, gave it a little stir so that all the little onion pieces were covered by the butter. And then for the next, I think it lasted a month, raw onion cut up with butter. And every morning, because I have eggs every morning for breakfast, another hack in my world, because I don't have to think about it. It's a no-brainer. I can get eggs anywhere I am in the world, unless we're having a shortage. But that's a whole nother story, right? And so what I was doing was I was taking like a teaspoon to a couple of teaspoons of the butter/onion mixture, putting it straight into my pan, in go the scrambled eggs. And I did it. So I was so excited by that. That worked so well and lasted so well that I did a yellow capsicum, a yellow bell pepper for my American friends. And I tried it with mushrooms. Mushrooms kind of soaked up the butter really quickly. So the mushrooms didn't kind of work as well as the bell pepper and the onion did. But you could do that with any kind of herbs. I did the capsicum not in this, I did it in ice cube containers so that I just had an ice cube to drop into the pan when I was going to start cooking. It didn't work as well as the jar. It sounds like it would be more convenient to have the ice cube trays, but trying to get the butter, the fat, even though it was frozen, out of the ice cube trays was really hard, and it kind of broke apart. So I feel like just fill your jar with whatever little thing that you want to add to your eggs or whatever in the morning to make life quick, and fill it up with melted butter, because you should be cooking with butter or lard or tallow anyway. So fill it with that if that's what you cook with, rather than seed oils. But that's like one of my favorite, that works so well. And I still can't believe that the onion stayed perfectly preserved in the butter in the glass for like a month. And that's how long it took me to get through one onion, was a month. So, because I only put like a teaspoon in to see how it reacts. And it was fine, like nothing reacted. So Natalie was on the money when she said, just a little bit at a time. Otherwise, of course, you're going to have reactions to it because your gut flora isn't used to that, that plant. So so that was my other hack there. So I think here we go. What else is there? I feel like that. What's the meat? Chicken. Okay, I've got all that, and then I've got another list on this computer. The dry brushing, magnesium baths. Okay, so here's another hack. If you don't have a bath or you cannot get into a bath because you can't get yourself out of a bath, and there was a time that I could not do that either, a foot bath with magnesium salts in it, Epsom salts. Okay, we're all lacking in magnesium. So for cramping and all that kind of thing, use a foot bath instead of trying to get in the bath. Okay, you can get lymphatic, you can get magnesium spray, but that can, a lot of people don't like it because it can make your skin a bit tingly. So honestly, having just a foot bath, bucket, whatever, will still get that magnesium into your body if you cannot get into a bath. All right. So that's another one. We've done compressions, okay. And then there's the vibration plate and all that kind of thing, but they're not hacks. They're just things that we know are good for lipedema. I haven't got one because I'm trying to get rid of stuff, not purchase stuff. Compressions are different. So when they arrive, that'll be my next journey or video or whatever, is A, putting them on, and B, how they go. So so that's it for me really today. If you're watching on the replay or anything like that, and you have any like weird hacks or hints or tips that makes your life easier. So remember, that's what a hack is. It's the way of doing something that makes your life easier, less stressful, which means less growth of the lipedema, the more stress we can get out of our life. Share with everybody else, because I would love to hear your tips and tricks for just life in general, because it might be lipedema, but it's lipedema life, right? It's everything to do with everything that we do. We carry ourselves around, therefore we carry our lipedema around. So we need to find hacks and tips and tricks related to every part of our life. So that's it from me, and I'm going to put all this stuff back now, and I will see you on the next video, and I will possibly see you for a cuppa next Sunday. See ya.